Hi cats and kittens, it's Amy from Savor Salvage Scent and I hope you're doing great. For those of you who are new to the channel, this mostly focuses on all things fragrance related. And for those of you returning, thank you so much for being here. If you enjoy this content or this theme at all, I hope that you will consider giving the video a thumbs up and or subscribing if you haven't, so that we can stay in touch and that you'll get notifications about my videos. So today is part 2 of a 2-part series about scents that I think, or perfumes that I think hold up especially well to cold weather. I live in Cleveland, Ohio. It's cold here. It's going to go down into the single digits tonight. So earlier, I think about a week ago, I did a video focused on what I found to be really inexpensive scents that do well in the cold. So for me, that was scents that were $40 or less. And today, the second part is going to focus on more of my investment scents that do really well in the cold. So for me, these go from about, I would say, $60 up to probably about $200. Though I know how to find a good buy, so I'm not saying I paid full price for all of these. Anyway, I have about, I think, maybe 22 cents here. And so I'm going to dig right in and talk to you about why I think they stand up to the cold. I'm not going to go into every note, but more of just kind of what they focus on. And here we go. So first I'm going to talk about a few scents that I find to be like what I would call cold weather gourmands or strong gourmands. This is a relatively new purchase. For my birthday this last year, a lot of you will know the name of Indigo Perfumery. It happens to be just about 10 miles from my house, I'm lucky to say. I heard about it for years, and I don't know why, I just assumed it was not around here. I think I might have even purchased samples from Indigo from other people. But anyway, learned about the shop being local, went there for my birthday this year and bought a few investment scents, and they have been more than worth it. One is Hiram Green's Slowdive. So I think this is such an interesting scent, and interesting enough that this could be, you know, a signature, a year-round scent, but I think it holds up to the cold beautifully. This is mostly honey, and I would call it a bit of a dirty honey. Not my most animalic honeys. I have a few of those that I talked about in my last video, but this is just a syrupy, gorgeous, this is one of the most perfect honey scents I've ever smelled. I would say in a perfect tie with a couple Solstice scents, honey scents that I just have in smaller oils, so they're not featured here. So yeah, Slowdive by Hiram Green. And if any of you know this house well, I would love to know if it's called Slowdive based on things like bees taking a slow dive into the nectar of a flower. Curious. All right. Gorgeous. Oh, and by the way, some of you will know who have listened to the channel before, I'm an advocate for you should wear whatever perfume you love, no matter where you're at on the gender spectrum or any spectrum, no matter who it's marketed to. But I find this to be perfectly unisex. I think it's absolutely beautiful. So, I mean, I had such a good time putting these scents together today, because I was like looking at these being like, my God, these are all so good. And they're so good this time of year. This is just, you can't stop smelling it. It's wonderful. Slowdive by Hiram Green. All right. This is a scent that I've almost sold a few times because I can't honestly take it in the cold. And I know a lot of you love this house and love the scent, but this is from the House of Oud. This is called Date's Delight. I think maybe just some, but a lot of their scents come in these kind of what they call eggs. I think they're actually supposed to look like stone or a jewel or something. But they're really interesting because you hold them upside down to spray them essentially. This is Date's Delight. I love scents that have like raisin, date, dried fruit accords, but especially those darker dried fruits. This has a gorgeous, gorgeous kind of date raisin kind of thing going on. But the oud is strong. This is like what I would call like the jammiest, resinous, honeyed scent. And it's so dark in a date-like way that unless it's absolutely cold out, I almost can't hack this. And I love strong perfume. I think this retails for, gosh, I think 200 plus, I believe. But I did some looking for a long time and bought this secondhand for, I think, I don't know, $60 or $70. So anyways, highly recommend in the cold. Gorgeous, especially if you like those kind of dried, almost resinous feeling fruits. I mean, this perfume could be called many things. This is just a little sample. So for the sample itself, it would be inexpensive, but for a full bottle, it would be spendy. Chanel's Coromandel. A lot of you will know this. I have said before, I can't imagine this life because, you know, I'm addicted to perfume. But if I were asked to only wear a few perfumes the rest of my life, this would have to be one of them. To me, it's the perfect cross-section of so many different kinds of perfumes I like. It's supposed to kind of evoke, maybe not the smell of, but the feeling of, I think, Japanese screens. So the lacquered screens. But to me, when I smell this, I get woodiness. I get a little bit of chocolate or white chocolate. I get an ambery feel, and it's a perfect scent. It's just perfect. However, the full bottles now, I believe, are like, I don't know, $350, $450, really cost prohibitive. But if you have the cash, this is just a gorgeous, gorgeous thing. So Coromandel by Chanel. Kind of bridging, I would say, gourmand and powder. Is Commodities Tonka. This is now, I believe it has continued. My phenomenal friend Autumn gave this to me. Thank you, Autumn, as a gift. It's one of my favorite things. I mean, don't make me stop smelling it. That's how good it is. If you don't like powder, though, it's not going to be for you. It's so powdery. It's like, yeah, a tonka bean, a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of booze, and a huge thing of powder had a baby. It almost borders on the feeling of a fougere, like, you know, those old-fashioned kind of barbershop scents that had those lavender or powdery scents. It's got a bit of that going on too, but it is just phenomenal. You can still find these used or off market, relatively, I mean, inexpensive, somewhere between like $60 and $100. But phenomenal stuff, and just, yeah, I can't get enough of it. Commodities Tonka. This one has some gourmand elements, but some floral and also some kind of resinous qualities. Unfortunately, this is discontinued, but one of my favorite things and one of the most beautiful. I mean, if this isn't a like gothic masterpiece bottle, this is Lolita Lempicka's. This is one of its Midnight line scents. I think this is the Couture bottle. I went searching for a second bottle, and I think it's near 200 now. Darn it. When it first came out, I think I found this originally at TJ Maxx for like $50 or $60. It's like, imagine the original Lolita Lempicka, so kind of ivy-ish, a little bit of resin, but mostly anise or licorice, but make it even darker, amp it up, make it more gothic. This thing is one of the sexiest. I say that this is a scent that you better be ready to carry a big stick so you can beat somebody off of you. It's just gorgeous, and I'll be frank, when I was in my kind of like clubbing on the prowl days, this would sometimes do the job. Yeah. Okay, so Lolita Lempicka, I think that's the Midnight Couture. Now I'm going to talk about some scents that I would call ambers or resins or incense, kind of in that family. So Secret de Parfum by Opium. This is, so I love anything. I'm like oh gosh, I'm just crazy about anything that's like chinoiserie looking. Cinephile, I guess. Would that be cinephile? This Opium bottle, this vintage Opium bottle, first of all, the bottle itself, look at this thing. You can still find these online sometimes between like $60 and $100. I think this was released in the 90s, this particular, not positive, tell me if I'm wrong. But it's a wonderful flanker of Opium, and I think this has a bit more of a gourmand quality than the original Opium. It's just so good. Great in the cold, holds up to the cold. Okay. I'm going to talk about a few Solstice scent perfumes. This is my favorite small indie house out of Florida. Phenomenal. Cannot say enough good things about them. While these are investments for me, I do not think they're costly for what they are, but I think they're about 2-ounce bottles of perfume, run any between 75 and maybe about 100, depending on the scent. But I'm going to talk to you about 2 that I think they have a lot of quality. So this one is called Solstice Kefi. This is a certain kind of incense, and it kind of is focused on like the altar, and specifically a kind of altar that's made that has, again, it has a lot of that dried fruit stuff going on, but it's also got like honey. So it's not only got like things you would expect in an altar, so incense, maybe some old wood or whatever the altar's made of, but you also get the dried fruits and things that would be offerings like honey or fruit. This thing is just, I mean, I don't have words to tell you how much I love this thing. It's one of my favorite Solstice scents perfumes from one of my favorite houses, my favorite indie house. So it just is phenomenal and so good in the cold. So, so good. I think borders on sexy, but you know, you'd be the judge of that. Another one from Solstice Scents that bridges, to me, this is you could call it a vanilla perfume. You could call it an incense perfume. Both things would be true. It is called Conjure. And what does it do? It conjures people, feelings, self-love. It is just, to me, the perfect combination of like that deep, dark vanilla and incense. It is ridiculous. And again, I think this is a sexy one. It's so good. Kind of in that same vein, but I would say this is way more complex. This is quite a composition. Francesca Bianchi's Lost in Heaven. Let me just say to you, I can be known to be cheap. I am a nonprofit worker, so I have to watch my dollars, but I know how to find a sale. I know how to find a good deal. I'm a shopper. This is worth investment. All of her scents are. I probably tried 6 or 8 when I was in Indigo last, and there was not one that I did not go crazy for. This is the one that made it out first, Lost in Heaven. And I really don't even know what category to put this under, but here's why. You could call it a resinous scent. You could call it a honey scent. You could call it even a gourmand scent. You could call it a floral scent. It is so deep and dark. You could even call it, when it dries down, a powder. Like it is all of those things, rich, thick, syrupy, gorgeous. And the name Lost in Heaven, you might think, oh, dramatic. Oh, but no. It is heaven in a bottle. And in the cold, anyways, it's so good. Yeah. Just trust me. Phenomenal. I believe now perfume is a subjective, objective thing sometimes. But I believe most people into perfume, if not all, should own a bottle of Shalimar by Guerlain. And if you're really into the deep, dark, resinous, ambery things, everybody should own a bottle of a vintage perfume. It's worth it. Although I have found great deals on these in antique stores if you keep an eye out. But I love I think the modern interpretation of Shalimar is really still wonderful, but the reason I say get your hands on an old bottle is something happens that when this gets older that it becomes, you can see, almost like a liqueur. It becomes so honeyed and it loses some of its top citrusy notes from time, and it just becomes this ambered, soft, honeyed, but still with a little bit of the smokiness. This gorgeous, gorgeous thing. Shalimar. And in the cold again, you'll just catch a whiff yourself and be like, I'm all right. I really, really love the House of Diptyque, and I hope to explore it more, but this is my first Diptyque. Is it my first or second? Anyways, one of my first. Tamdao. This is really wonderful, deep, dark, maybe lacquered wood and incense to me. Unfortunately, my sprayer is broken. I need to figure that out, but this is just one of my favorite wood and incense scents. It's incredible. This isn't maybe quite as heavy hitting as the others. You're gonna have to respray this probably, in fact, but it still holds up to the cold at first when you spray it, and it smells great in the cold. Tamdao. What would I call this next one? It kind of bridges gourmands and spice. So I'm going to talk about two in this line from Aramis Calligraphy. One is Calligraphy Saffron. These are some of my favorite bottles. I think they're gorgeous. Heaven. It's heaven. I think these originally they were like maybe $1 or $1.50, but you can find them from 60 to 80 still. This, of course, has a saffron scent, which is like to me, a dry grass kind of scent, but really soft and almost sweet and honeyed too. That's what I get from this, with a tiny bit of maybe incense. So good. Okay. I bought this first actually before the saffron. This is Calligraphy Rose. I think my friend Selena turned me onto this. I owe Selena many thanks. This is one of them. This thing, when I first got it, I got it in the warm weather, and I thought I didn't like it because it's strong. And then I wore on a cold day. I was out for a walk, and I didn't know what it was at first. I would get these whiffs of something. I'd be like, what is that? And then I realized it was my wrist. In the cold, oh my. This is the jammiest, thickest, syrupy rose. And then it's got that like Middle Eastern quality. It's got a tiny bit of wood or oud maybe, but it's got this just deep, dark, honeyed quality. It's just one of my favorite perfumes. It's phenomenal. So great. Along the lines of, so obviously that's kind of a jammy rose. You know, Marc Jacobs scents, a lot of them are really light wearing, fresh, and I think really, you know, specifically marketed to young women, which is great. They're beautiful, fun, sculptural, fun bottles too. But don't underestimate the power of Lola. This thing, I believe, is discontinued, but find a bottle. I mean, first of all, look at that bottle. How fun is that bottle? It's great. I think I paid for this used maybe like 50 or 60. And there's still about 2 ounces in here, so I think that's great. This is, I had a full bottle of this when I was younger, travel size, and I wore it out immediately. It is also really strong, heady. This is definitely more floral than maybe the last one was a bit more gourmand, but this is great in the cold. It's good all year round. It would be a great signature scent, but this to me is an arty, just beautiful rose, fabulous, great in the cold. All right, I'm going to talk to you about another, it's just a small group of florals. Come on, we can't not talk about Poison by Dior. This is old school, but everything good. This is white florals, yellow florals, and then like amber. Oh, so good. You know, and when ageist people say this smells like an old lady and all that kind of stuff, I'm like, what's wrong with a good smelling older person? Nothing. This thing is gorgeous. Sometimes we need to take a lead from our elders. And this thing came out when I was young. So anyways, makes me feel young still. Phenomenal, gorgeous thing. And I mean, how about these bottles? Again, these look like little fairy tale bottles. So great. Kind of along that line, but I would say I love this one even more. This was one of my first signature scents. And then it was discontinued. Bulgari's Jasminoir. Sexy floral. I say all the time that things are called these days noir that are not noir. They're just, it's a selling tactic. This thing is a jasmine, but noir. Dark like noir film. Dark like heavy, thick, syrupy, beautiful, resinous. But jasmine, I don't trust people who don't like this perfume. Oh, I take it back. Okay, everybody can like what they like. You can argue with me, please. But anyway, tell me if you love it though, for sure. Jasminoir by Bulgari. Another, to me, heady, beautiful floral. Oh my God, you guys. Every Perfumes. So cool. Barbara Herrmann, great writer about perfumes. I'm sure a lot of you will know. Worked with Antoine Lee to make this line of perfumes. They just had a new scent come out called Scorpio Rising. I can't wait to try it. Keep reading wonderful things about it. Anyway, this is Night Flower. This was another one of my birthday investments this year. So worth it. I think these run like $150, $170, something like that. So good. This is, Night Flower is a perfect name for it because, anyway, I'm a gardener and I love, sometimes night blooming flowers are so heady and ripe and voluptuous and buttery and just, and then add a bit of like spice to this and you'll get Night Flower. It's seductive, beautiful, signature scent worthy. I think this is one that holds up to cold, but you could wear this year round. It's great. An oldie but a goodie, Fendi's Asha. Carnation in the cold. We're going to talk about this in a minute. Or maybe now. Hello. This has so much carnation in it. This thing is an amber scent, but heavy in the carnation, a little powdery, and one of my favorite bottles of all times. Really phenomenal, worth picking up. Discontinued, but worth looking for. Especially if you like carnation. On the note of carnation, what I'm wearing today, and I seriously cannot get over how good this is. So when you wear a lot of perfume, you sometimes almost get anosmic to perfume, like you might not pick up on it as much. I wore this today, and I swear I kept being like, I cannot believe how good this smells. This is Solstice Scents. I can never say it. Lace Draped Spectre. This is a cross between a powdery carnation and a spicy scent, a gourmand even. It's candied carnation with spice. And when it softens, it just gets so gourmand and beautiful. I swear to God, it's almost like Carnation ice cream. It's like so good. I think this runs like 80 or 85, and I'm just telling you, yeah, one of the best things I've ever smelled. And I can't not mention a Chanel No. 5, the original. And I just say this because this thing I find to be, I think people overuse the word beast, but I think this is a beast. And it's so great. I meet sometimes people who are like, it's old fashioned, it's old, I don't like it, it's too much. And I'm like, give me more. This is so beautiful. It's corny when people say that smells like money, but I do this thing. I think this smells really rich, so composed, but yet, God, I can wear this with jeans and love it. It is just, there's a reason it has been around so long and so many people still love it. No. 5, great in the cold. You could wear it all year, but in the cold, I think it's gorgeous. I'm going to end with 2 scents that are like green scents, which you wouldn't always think about like for the cold. You'd think about it maybe for the spring or summer. But these are heavy hitters and I think just do great when it's crisp. Oh, so good. One is, again, a small bottle version of Chanel Sycamore. If you haven't listened to my Chanel video, this was sent to me in air. I had purchased Coromandel, I think for like $25 or $30 or something. And by mistake, they sent me this. And then I wrote the person and was like, I'm going to send it back to you. And they were like, no, just keep it. We'll send you the other one. I was like, shucks. I didn't think I would like this because, and this is why sometimes you have to like not listen to anyone about perfume. It's fun to listen. I listen to a ton of perfume videos, obviously, but there's a certain point where you decide for yourself what you like, right? I had heard for years that this was way too masculine for a woman and, too strong and too green and putrid. I mean, I've heard people say like awful things about this perfume. So I got it and I was like, we'll see what this is like. I might even like it even more than Coromandel, which I cannot believe. It is. If you like vetiver, if you like stemmy things, grassy, hay, this is like the best of its kind. It is so good. It is so good. Yes, this is probably something that would typically be marketed toward a man. Here I am wearing it, loving it, and get compliments on it, by the way. So, and look at this. I've had this for a few years. I've worn this probably 20 times. Look how much is left. It's like a dab will do you. It is so good. Men, women, everybody, the spectrum, love it. Try it for yourself. Judge for yourself. Okay. Last but not least, a gift from my friend Lynn, who is just the coolest. So she, I believe, had listened. Tell me if I'm wrong about this, Lynn. Might be giving myself too much credit. I think I'd listened to a video where I talked about this. This is Nikki de St. Phal's, the amazing artist, bubble bath or bubble bath oil, pardon me. I bought this maybe 10, 15 years ago, right when I was like really digging into my perfume lust. And frankly, bought it for the bottle. This is one of the greatest things I've ever seen. This is like what my design sense basically on a bottle, or what I would like to believe is my design sense, what I aspire to call my design sense. Everything I want in a bottle, essentially. Holy, when I first bought this thing, I wasn't ready. I would put like a dab or two in my bath oil and I'd be like, the house smells strong. Like it is like a forest. It is a forest in a bottle. And in the best way, it's just grown on me and grown on me. There's nothing like it to me now. I love it. It evokes like those warm baths that smell like the forest and the cold. Oh, so good. Well, it's been discontinued, friends. I could cry. This I think paid $20 for when I bought it. I mean, like, it was so inexpensive. So, been discontinued. The perfume was way too expensive. No. My friend Lynn had purchased a bottle, an extra bottle, years ago and sent this to me as a gift. Look at this thing. Look at it. It is, again, a forest in a bottle. Look at the serpents. I mean, come on. It's so cool. This is just overgrowth, forest, green, dark wood. Everything green. Oh, yeah. So good, so good, so good. In the cold, it smells crisp, green. The woods. Oh, it's so good, so good, so good. And again, I think this would be great on anybody. So fabulous. So I think that was 21 maybe cents that I find to be more investment cents. Of course, it's relative. That smell amazing in the cold. People, please tell me, what are the things that you think do well in the cold that are worth a splurge? Would love to hear about it. Please let me know what other topics you would like me to talk about. Coming up in the next week or two, I will do a video on my desert island holy grail, most rare scents in my collection. What else should I talk about? I would love to know. Cheers. Have a great week. Bye.